A day in the life of a sociopath. In this video, I'm going to give you signs and symptoms of someone who is a sociopath, someone you may be dealing with is a sociopath, or someone in your environment is a sociopath. Bit of a medical disclosure. I am not a medical professional. All of these videos are for educational purposes only, okay? Do not self-diagnose. Do not attempt to diagnose anyone else. All diagnoses should be made by a trained, certified medical professional. All right? Again, this is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back. Erica here with yet again another video. So when you hear the word sociopath, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'll be the first to explain to you where on the spectrum a sociopath lays, okay? In between a narcissist and a psychopath, okay? Now, you have so many different people with so many personality disorders that sit on the spectrum, but a sociopath is one step before an actual psychopath. So in the video, I'm going to kind of give you the gist of what a sociopath is and the traits that they carry, the behaviors that they display, and that you can get a clear, better understanding as to who it is you're dealing with. The sociopath. Now, the sociopath falls on the spectrum, falls under Antisocial Personality Disorder, or ASPD for short. Now, there's really no known cause for ASPD, but they believe that genetics and environment plays a very big role. ASPD is more commonly known in males than it is in females. And for the males, they're more at risk of developing ASPD if they've either been abused as a child, they grew up with parents who suffer from ASPD, or they have parents that suffer from alcoholism. Now, ASPD can be diagnosed in someone as young as 15 years old, especially if they're showing misconduct throughout their adolescent years. You know, common symptoms would include breaking rules and not caring about the consequences, stealing, destroying their own property or property of others, being extremely aggressive or even tormentive towards others or animals. They display certain symptoms that are very odd and eccentric, and if not properly diagnosed as they get older, it can get much worse. Now, the most common trait of a sociopath is they have huge mood swings, okay, and they tend to be violent due to their lack of empathy. They will lash out if they feel they're losing control. Okay, so if they feel that something is said or done that contradicts what it is they want or whatever control it is they feel that they have, they can get extremely hostile and they can lash out really, really badly. So you have to be careful with that. Now, the common behaviors of a sociopath are antisocial behaviors, irresponsibility, hostility, aggression, lack of restraint. Okay, their moods can range from anger to boredom to just general discontent. Okay, and they're more likely at risk. People who suffer from ASPD are more likely at risk to suffer from substance abuse problems as well. Now, people who suffer from ASPD may also use mind games to control people, friends, family, coworkers, even strangers. But as contradictory as this sounds, they can be perceived as being charming and charismatic. See, ASPD, when it's diagnosed in someone who's younger, typically will lessen as someone gets older. However, if they're still stuck in that mind frame, they have not been properly diagnosed, nor have gotten the proper treatment that they're supposed to get for it, can actually over time get worse, especially if they're running into substance abuse problems, because substance abuse actually heightens the aggression and the hostility in the individual, making them extremely volatile depending on certain situations. Be careful with that. Now, children with ASPD tend to either torture animals or set fires illegally. Those are the adolescent ones that take it beyond it. But for adults, to be properly diagnosed, you have to be displaying at least 3 of the 7 symptoms that I have listed, okay, which would include constant anger, hostility, arrogance, lack of regard, lack of empathy, no remorse for mistreating others, okay, deceiving people for your own personal gain, manipulation. It's just so many different things that I can go on and on about it, but I'm not. But you guys get the idea, okay? They have to be displaying a lot of these symptoms to get diagnosed properly. So, guys, I know this was a little bit of a detour from narcissism, but in actuality, a narcissist and a sociopath share a lot more in common than we think. Okay, even though their ways of doing certain things may be slightly different, I'm actually going to do another video. I'm going to do a video on the narcissistic sociopath, okay, where you have individuals that suffer from narcissism and ASPD combined. And that's just a volcano really waiting to erupt. But sociopaths do run along the borderline of psychopath, and that's something that you really got to be very, very careful about, especially if you have children, and all in all, if you're just inviting certain people into your private space. I mean, you want to be on the safe side of everything, whether it be your family or just yourself. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all learned something new, because I'm learning more and more each and every day as I go along. So stay tuned for my next video, which will be the narcissistic sociopath. And guys, you really got to look into this kind of stuff, because if you're ever sitting there wondering who, what, where, when, how, why, and you feel like you're the one going insane, you just might have dealt with a narcissist, you might have dealt with a sociopath, you might have dealt with a schizophrenic, you might have dealt with anybody. And you know what? It's about that time that we really start educating ourselves and we start helping others, because people who suffer from these disorders sometimes don't even realize it, okay? And instead of judging them, which I know a lot of us want to, maybe it's time we help them, all right? Till next time, namaste.